and welcome. My name is Dorothea, and this is the first redstone video in a really long time. Like, over 2 years, which is crazy to think about. It didn't feel like that long. Anyway, today I've got a big treat for you guys, and I'm really proud that I got this to work. Because there's no tutorial on it, just videos that show part of it and doesn't show other parts. So I did my best. It's not going to be a true copy. And it's been really fun trying to figure out how to make it work and how the different parts of the redstone triggers and stuff. So I hope you'll enjoy. Before me, I have the Wordle game as designed by Pearlescentmoon in Hermitcraft Season 10. It's not a perfect true copy, but it's a lot of fun, and I think I've gotten as close as I possibly can to what Pearl has in her videos. So I'll teach you how to build it, and it doesn't have to be overly complicated. As you can see here, I've actually been able to build the game on a Minecraft server that I play on. And it didn't take a lot to get all the resources that I needed. You'll need an enchanting table or some villager trading to get silk touch. And you will need some quartz, and you will need some blaze rods. But outside of that, most of the materials are really easy to gather. What I think takes the longest is going to be gathering all the stuff that you need for letters. In this case, you can see that there's 3 letters too much. That's because this is a Danish Minecraft server, so I've added E, and O, which is letters that Danes have added to the Latin alphabet. But so, as you can see, if I can build this within just a couple of days of me playing on the Minecraft server, then so can you. The game works by running all the letters through 2 item sorters. The first one is going to check if the letter is in the correct position, and is then going to light up a copper lamp if it is. And the second sorter is going to check if the letter is in the word, but hasn't been placed in the right position. This design can have the same letter multiple times thanks to this, which is going to be a fancy system that goes in and locks this first hopper in the chain, preventing it from taking any items. But I'll explain that a little more in a moment. Outside of that, we have a system up here that counts the amount of try you have using the new auto crafters. We have a reset system that gives signals out to the whole system to send the minecarts back if they've been triggered, and to unlock these hoppers down here so that all the materials can go back into this water elevator and up and back to the system so that you can play again. And yeah, I think that's basically it. So let's get going and building this for you guys. Like any item sorter, we're going to start by placing hoppers like this into a block so that they're not facing directly down into the hopper that's going to sit below it. And we're going to make it 5 wide. If you wanted to, like let's say you want to make a 10-letter word, this is very easily expandable as far as you want it. Below them, we're going to place a second row of hoppers, but first I'm going to place comparators, like this. The second row of hoppers are going to go into the comparators. Below them, we add a second row of hoppers. Those are just going to go straight down and into a chest of your choice. For the sake of how Oops. For the sake of how I've built it, I'm going to right click so that each chest is individual. From here, I'm going to build like a little T almost, so that it's going to look like this. And on the inside, right behind the chest, we're placing redstone torches. And then we're closing off. And then we're closing it off so that it looks more like a sideways H. In this column, we're placing repeaters right here. And these repeaters are just going to be in the standout tick. And then we're going to close them in. And then we'll place redstone on all these surfaces until we have this pattern. Underneath these chests, we'll add another row of hoppers. These hoppers will direct into a chest for now. So that we have the option to test later. Right below this row of hoppers, I'm going to place redstone torches because that means these lock. That means that they're not going to take anything from the chest. As you can see, it's not taking anything from the chest, but if I remove this, it will take the item from the chest. And that's how we want it. It's a locking system. I'm going to take a stack of some item. You can use whatever item you want. And I'm going to give it a name so that it will not stack with anything else in the game. That means if I accidentally put sticks through the system, these will not filter as sticks. And then in the hopper that's going into the comparator, I'm going to fill up the last 4 slots with 1 in each. Now this is where it's going to differ from a normal sorting system. I'm going to add a row of blocks here, and I'm taking another color because this is a different piece of redstone, but in the same system. And on them, I'm going to place repeaters in full tick. This tick might change depending on servers, at least so I've observed, but as a general rule, full ticks. And these are going to go straight into, target blocks. And I'll place a row up here too, because we need something to stop the minecart when they come back down, so it's like going to bump into it. Right. From the target block, I'm building 2 out, like so. And then I'm going to build 1 up, not with my normal block, but with copper bulbs. From these copper bulbs, I'm going to place redstone comparators, like so. We'll get back to this in a moment. And I'm gonna build another step up. And then I'm going to build another bumper, so that my minecart is not going to drive off the track. Then I'm going to build rails in this pattern. I'm starting with a powered rail, then a normal rail, a powered rail, a detector rail, and lastly, a powered rail. Once you've built the first one, you'll find that if you try to place the rail here, it'll connect like this. We do not want that. So to prevent that, start with the normal rail and then put your powered rails. And you'll just continue this pattern all the way across. Now I'm going to want to power the middle powered rails so that my minecarts can go all the way up. So I'm adding a row down here of just whatever block I'm using to build. And then I'm going to add redstone torches along it. Now you can see that it's powered. And then I'm actually going to go take my minecarts. Now you'll probably find that they're going to move a little bit and do like that when you place them. That's fine. Just bring some buttons so that you have them, and then you can then you can send all of them off on your own. And then they should be lined up properly. You can leave the buttons in place just in case you want to manually go in and restart the minecarts. That should not be a problem for the design. At least I haven't found that it's a problem. Now, when these minecarts run over the copper ball will light up and it will go because of the detector rail, and it will give a signal into the redstone comparator. That is something that we're going to need for logging a hopper in the second item sorter. The comparator is going to give a signal into the target block, then into sticky piston, and then the sticky piston is going to move out a redstone block. And when the minecart drives back, it'll turn off the lamp and the piston will retract. If we have a 2-space like this, we're able to place our hoppers into this block, just like we did earlier. Once those are in place, we'll add a second set of hoppers that are just going to go straight down. You'll notice that this time we have a row less of hoppers. That is because we're going to use water streams on top of here. It's just a little bit faster and it works a little bit better for the specific purpose. Yeah. We're once more going to build this T-shape that we did earlier. That's going to be at the lowest hopper. We're going to place our redstone torches, just the same that we did earlier. And then do so that it kind of looks like a sideways H. And then we'll place our repeaters in this column and close off. From the dropper up here, we're going to place comparators, and we're going to place redstone in the same pattern as before. Underneath here, we'll add chests, and this time it doesn't matter if the chests are connected or not, so we're just going to build a chest like this. And for right now, so that we can do testing when we get to it, we're just going to filter everything from those chests into a temporary chest, like so. We're once more going to take something, we're just going to take the same, we're going to call it the same, filter, and we'll filter into the top hoppers with exactly like before, and the one in each of the 4 last slots. So we should have power from all of the comparators. Now, the reason why we need to be able to lock a hopper by powering it is so that, let's say I wrote the word. Let's say I had written the word hello. Well, then this is going to say, oh, the word is right, so I'm going to take it down into this piston. That is going to give us enough signal strength to send off this specific minecart. But there's 2 L's in hello, so the second L does not go off. This one is going to lock so that the player can still see, if they add another L, that there's actually another L in their word. Let's say they have gotten both L's at this point in time. They're really bad at Wordle, so they only have the L's. Now, if they put an L into the last 3, the L will just pass right over because both of the L hoppers are locked and will not take the letter. Now we're almost at a place where we can begin to check if the system works. But first, we need to make a little system that's going to transport the wrong letters from here and all the way down to here. From the redstone block on the right side of the build, I'm going to build 2 out. I'm going to place a dropper that's facing like this. I can destroy the remainder of the blocks. I'm going to take a dark green, just so that we can see that this is a different system again. Oh, ugh. Boom. Okay, that's fine. So, this dropper we want to activate every time an item enters it. So we're going to place a comparator, followed by a repeater, followed by 2 redstone. This redstone is going to power a sticky piston with an observer that's facing like so. So, yeah. From this, we place a block and we place an observer that faces the opposite direction. From here, we build redstone, redstone, repeater, redstone, and we have to remember to place a block here. Otherwise, this dispenser will not get a signal. And now we need to build our little water tunnel. You're just going to run it like about this. Just make sure that it's not going to leak water into anything important. And we should be able to, with a single water bucket, have it flow exactly to the end of the last hopper. Alright, with this part done, we just have to connect this dropper up to the main system. And we'll just do that with hoppers for now. Now I'll remove this block because we're putting it into the site. And then we'll run a long chain all the way down. So I'll just make a temporary row of blocks. If you're building this in the ground, you might already have blocks here. And then you just fill it in. And it's important that all the droppers, that all the hoppers go directly into their next piece. Up here, we're actually going to add a different row. No, another row of hoppers like this. One of them is going to go into this block, which we remove, and then go into the line. The others are just going to go directly into this hopper. And now, we should be able to test if things get into the right spots. So, I'm gonna take 5 different items. It has to be stackable items. Let's take glass. I'll take blue glass, red glass, green glass, black glass, and white glass. And the same hopper where you have the sticks, you'll add 1 block for each of them. Now, you should expect that the system is going to keep 42 items. So if I add my glass here, you could see the minecart go up because it's registered. I'll reset that in a second. This one should go down to 41. The hopper right below often keeps one right here. And whatever's left is going to go into the one. And it's going to go into the chest. Right now they're just going to go into the chest. They're not going to go into this one because we haven't made a system to turn these ones off yet. So if we say blue is A, then now we have programmed the first letter of the word to be A. And I'll do that with all the types of glass that we have. You can see, we now have all of them. I'll save these here for now. Now we also have to program this part down here. So I'm going to take the same pieces of glass again. So it's blue, it's red, it's green, it's black, and it's white. And I'll add them into the same order that I did the first time. All of these should end up down here. Right now there comes a lot of different things for the system, so that's gonna take a hot minute. But once it's just one in each chest, maybe, it's going to be really quick. And it should not cause any issues for you. Now, to test that everything is working correctly, I know the order that we have the blocks in, so I'm going to mix that order up. We want to test that the block ends up in the right position. We want to double check that the minecart locks in the second system so that it does not take a second one. We have to check that the incorrect block is sent. That the block that's in the incorrect space does not go into the system chest row. And then we need to check that an item that is not there, and I'm going to take oak wooden planks, is not taken into the system. So this one should be correct. Oh, wait a second. I have to restart it, like I said. This is because we programmed it, so I'll restart all of them. This is where I keep the buttons here. This one is correct and should be taken by the hopper. We see the minecart do the right thing. This one is going to be thrown out of the system because we've locked the hopper where it's supposed to go. This one should be taken by the second row of chests. This one should be taken by the second row of chests. And this one should be thrown out of the system. So if we start down here, we'll see that yes, this one got thrown out of the system, and so did our oak planks. So that works exactly like we planned it to. These two, yeah. Our red and black ended up in the right one. And our blue should be right there. Now that we know that all the pieces of the system work, I'm going to reset it again. And now we can build all the fancy stuff around it. We want to light up we want a copper bulb to light up every time we have a letter in the correct place. I'm going to build out a small platform like this, so that we can detect if there's something in the chest. I'm going to place comparators out like so, and then repeaters. From these repeaters, we're going to have observers that points upwards. these observers are going to power into a block. The block can be anything of your choice, as long as it's solid. And then we'll have a row of copper bulbs. It can be any copper bulb, and it doesn't matter if it's waxed or not. I'm gonna do it with this because it looks pretty in the survival server that I built it on. So, now, if I trigger all of them to be correct, you can see they will turn on. Is that not correct? Or did I put it in the wrong hopper? Put it in the wrong. I must have. That's weird. Why are these two doing it wrong? Yeah, that's right. In the off chance that they for some reason decide to stop taking the item, replace the top row of hoppers into that. And then they should work. That's so weird. I've never had that happen and I worked on it so long. Now it's working. That's good. So just, they do not take them. Replace the hoppers, even if they look like they're right. That's so weird. Now we're going to add a system so that we can actually get the items into an item sorter. So we're going to take hoppers, and the first row we're going to place into the back of these. And then we're going to place 1, 2, 3 up, and they're all just going to go straight down. Like so. Now we're going to take droppers and we're going to have them all facing into the top row of hoppers. These droppers will be visible from the front of the game, meaning that your back wall is going to be here, while your floor is going to be on the same level as the copper bulbs. I'm gonna make the line green temporarily, and you'll be able to place the button there. But for now, I'm just placing it here, for convenience sake. I'm going to run this. I'm going to place, and there's going to be a redstone here. I'm going to place a torch. And then I'm going to place 2 blocks there. I'm going to place a second torch, and then I'll just run redstone over my droppers. Now, if I press this one, you'll hear all of them activating. Blue, red, green, black, and white. Now I press, and then you can see they run through the system and come out correct. Now we're also going to add some lights so that people can see how many guesses they've already used. For the sake of the design, I'll place blocks like this, and then the lights that light up is going to go here. I'm going to use redstone bulbs because of the way they interact with redstone. That means that your roof is going to be here. On top of all of these, I'm going to place target blocks. That is because if I go down here and I place 2 redstone blocks, no, redstone lamps, and I power one of, what? And I give one of them power, they'll both power, which we do not want. But by using target blocks, we're going to redirect the power so that it runs correctly. So I'm going to build out like so. And into each of the target blocks, we're placing a repeater at standard ticks, and then a piece of redstone dust. Right afterwards, we're going to place a comparator, and then we're going to place a crafter. And into that crafter, we're placing a dropper. Like so. Behind the dropper, we're placing a target block because otherwise we can actually power this one too. It's soft powering. And then I'm just going to very quickly build out and up so that it gets power. You might want to add a repeater. Boom. Into the dispenser, we're going to add a non-stackable item. And now, if I press this button, one of them will turn on, one more will turn on, the third will turn on, the fourth will turn on, and the fifth will turn on. And now you can see that all the wooden shovels have been added into the dropper. Now, we also want to lock this dropper once all 5 guesses has been used. That's going to be really simple. We just add a repeater right here, because then when all 5 guesses have been used, we'll power this repeater, and then we'll run a simple redstone line. Oops. We'll run a simple redstone line like this. Oh, that's enough. We'll just run a simple redstone line into it. If I just take a random item now and put into a dropper, right now all 5 guesses have been used, so now if I click this button, you'll see that the droppers do not activate. Now the whole game in itself is working. Now we just need to make a restart option. That means we need to get items from this one out. We need to get items from this one out. We need to take all of the wrong items out. We need to be able to reset this. And we need to be able to reset the minecarts. The minecarts are actually the easiest. Back here, I'll place redstone. No, I'll place a normal set of blocks like so. This should not power anything above it. I'll place repeaters into the back of these. And we're going to place stuff in like this. And then I'll place a repeater there. Just like before, we're going to run a line. Now, since we also need to power stuff down here, I'll run the line down and then up. You don't technically have to do that. You can do it however you want to do it. But I found this easier. So we just run our redstone of choice all the way down. Whatever repeaters you place, keep them at 1 tick. I'm going to place a button here. That's just for testing purposes. So we have an easy access point. That is honestly probably about 15 blocks. Boom. Oh right, that doesn't work. Okay, no, that should work. Yeah, that should be fine. Now we should be able to reset the minecarts. So if I send all of them off, and I go down, if I press this button, we'll see that all the minecarts go back. Now they're reset. That also means that these are no longer live. The next thing we want to be able to reset is these redstone torches. And that can be done really simple. We just need to turn them off so that whatever is in the chest can go down into the chest right there. So we place repeaters, and then we do like that. And then we connect it up. Now, what you'll most likely find is that it's not long enough. So if I have items in all the chests, it doesn't really matter. Any item will do. Okay, boom. And I go down here and I press the button. You'll see, okay, yes, 2 of them came through. And the rest of them are stuck. Because it's not on for long enough. What we can then do is that I can make a pulse extender. We do that by placing 2 comparators. We place redstone. And then we place another 2 comparators. Now, this is exactly how it looks in Pearlescentmoon's videos. But you might actually have to extend it. I found, at least on my single player world, that I had to extend it to 4 for it to have the ability to take all of them. But I don't know exactly why that is. It might be a pink thing. No. Ticks. I don't know. I don't know exactly why that is. Now you can see that it's off for much longer. And actually, I'm going to place a repeater there so that it doesn't affect the whole system. But now we'll have all 5 white wool that we got from the system. Editing Dorothea here. So, like I said at the beginning of the video, I have the game on a survival multiplayer that I'm playing on, and people have kind of been playing it and having fun with it. We've discovered that this signal extender actually needs to be a little bit longer because it doesn't consistently take all 5 items. Sometimes it only takes 4. So, you might have to extend it a little bit. That should be easy. Now, back to past Dorothea. So this is a fancy little thing. If you find that this is still not enough, maybe it only takes 4 of the 5 blocks, then you can just extend it again in a similar fashion as before. Now we need to be able to reset this one, the crafter. And to do that, I'm going to take a hopper and a dropper. the dropper is going to go right up and the hopper is going to be there. Below the dropper, I'll place a target block so that I know it's only the dropper that's going to be powered. And then I'll place, give me a second, and then I'll place an observer that points up into that. And then I'll place a dropper that points it this way. You'll see why in a second. Right here, so that we can reset. We need to be able to lock this dropper, just like we did down on the sorting system. And I'll use a very similar setup, so that when this extends, this one will be locked. We actually want it locked from the beginning, so we have to set that up. Now, we're going to place a redstone torch behind this, because that should keep it locked from behind, for now, anyway. And then we're going to take that redstone signal, and we're going to keep it going. I'm gonna start running up my line so that we can get our power all the way up. Is that the right layer? That should be the right layer. Yeah. Boom. Oh, yeah. You have to make sure that these don't meet, because you don't want to power both accidentally, and then you just connect it up to the same block where you place your redstone torch. Yeah. And then you'll just add repeaters if needed, so that the signal carries all the way. And all the way, like so. Now, right now, the piston is extended. But if I were to, let's say, push like that, the redstone torch will turn off, and it will pull the piston back. Now that works. But once more, you could see that it wasn't off for very long, so we're once again going to take advantage of a of a pulse extender. And again, you can adjust this as much or as little as needed. I believe up here, I actually found that I had to have it at 5 for it to have enough time. So I'm going to do that. And you can place it anywhere, really. This is not the only option. Okay, now that should be up and running. So if I powered it now, you'll see that it's retracted for much, much longer. Now, we have to give this down here some power too. And we're going to do that in a very similar way that we did with this one up here. With this piston and up. I'm going to add another block up here, where I'm going to place a redstone torch. This redstone torch should now be turned off. Then I'm going to add a redstone that goes into a redstone repeater that should then go into a slime sticky piston. Now once that moves out, it should look like that. And now we'll get a signal from this observer. And this signal we can take and we can run all the way down to this observer. Now the complicated part of the reset system should be working now. So let's test it. If I go down and take all my blocks. And we place one in each. Oops. And I'll make a guess. Now, all the copper bulbs light up. One of these light up because we've used one guess, so there should be one wooden shovel. I'm actually going to press it 4 more times. So that all the lights up here are turned on and all the wooden shovels are in. And because all of them are right, all the minecart should be in the active mode. Now, if I click here, you could see those turned off, the minecarts came back, and we have all the blocks back in the chest. So now we're actually almost done. We just have to run some water flow lines. Now we're going to run glass all the way back down. Remember to raise this enough that you can have your line down below, but you can also modify it so that it looks a different way. I don't think it matters overly much. Now I'm going to fill this up, and then right here we're going to need packed ice. I guess if you're in a snow area, you could theoretically just use normal ice, but I highly doubt you're in a snow area. If you're, going to place some ice here, and then I'm going to place a sign. You can leave a little fun thing, and then we need some soul sand because we are going to make a bubble elevator. Now, this is not a very big bubble elevator. And actually, I need to move it one more out. This is a real issue, and you might not think about it, but you can't. You'll want to place ice right before your soul sand with a sign. But if you place this water block here, it's not going to flow. It's a source block. So we'll actually want to move things one over. Now this is not a very tall bubble elevator, like I said. But it's tall enough. I like to close it. You don't technically have to. But right here you have to place a block, otherwise they're just going to shoot up, and then you don't really know where you have them by the end. If you place a block there, people can see the order. That looks cool. So now we have our water tube. So I'm going to add source blocks here, and that's just going to flow off. So now the bubble elevator is working, and then you just have to add ice every few blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Then you know it'll work. And then it should flow into the incorrect barrel. That is going to be the barrel that says, well, the guess is correct in the sense that it's in the word, but not quite. Now the same system that we build up here, we're actually going to build down here too. So when the blocks come, we're going to get everything into a hopper that goes into a hopper from the last chest. That will then point this way, backwards like this. But otherwise, it's exactly like the last one we built. So, comparator, repeater, redstone, redstone, slime block, observer, observer, down and run a line, remember a block there, and done. And really, we're just going to do that again, but for this chest down here. Now this chest down here, we actually need to add a little more to it. Because all these hoppers are locked, I'm going to add an extra hopper at the end here. And then we'll take a dropper and let's turn it that way. That's fine. And then we do this one again. Like so. Comparator, repeater, redstone, redstone. Oops. Sticky piston. Observer. Observer. Redstone line, like so. Remember the block there, otherwise it's not gonna work. Redstone, redstone. Boom. And now, it's time for our final test. Now, you can decorate all this you want. You have pretty good control about where you want to put the barrels. As long as you can build a water flow and a bubble elevator that fits. You can also move this a little bit. As long as you connect things up correctly, you can add one. And sometimes you might need a repeater or two. But so you can customize it and you can make it more compact. I've just built it so that it's pretty easy to like see how everything works. But so now everything should be working. So I'll just test it. I'll drop these two are correct. These two are incorrect. But, well, they're not incorrect, but they're not in the right spot. And then I'm just going to take some orange concrete powder for an incorrect one. I'm going to make my guess. Those two light up. We'll find that it takes like, I think, 15 seconds. So, that's fine. Yeah, like you can see, all of this works. So now there should be stuff down there. We saw that come up here, correctly. So now, if I press this one, everything should go back to normal. Yes. And you can see the items coming up over here and going into their chest. So then you just have to decide on what kind of material you want to use for the different letters. Now, what I used for the letters on the survival server is just flowers and dies. But there's only 16 dies, so that might not quite be enough for you. You can, of course, choose to ignore any letter that you don't want. C is not something that... Set, C. I can't remember how you say that letter. The weird squiggly one. This one, the C. You don't use very often, so in theory you can just ignore it. But you'll just have to make a decision about what material you want to use. You can also do totally random stuff and then just name it in the anvil. Oh, wandering trader on a mushroom island. But so now you know just how to build Pearlescentmoon's Wordle on Minecraft, and it looks so cool. I absolutely love the design, and like you can make it look cool too. Like, yeah, right now it's kind of boring and it's not very decorated. This one over here is probably a little bit better. But you don't have to make it overly fancy, and the redstone itself can look really fucking awesome. It can look really, really cool. I love the look of redstone. But Pearl did something like that, so you can do that too. Thanks for watching this episode. Thanks for watching this redstone tutorial. I hope you enjoyed, and I can't wait to see all of you guys build it in Minecraft.